Example 1, determine points on the following circles with the highest and lowest x and y coordinates. Part A, x squared plus y squared equals 36. This equation represents a circle that's centered at the origin because it's in the form x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. So we know the center is 0, 0. We can also determine the radius from this equation since 36 represents the radius squared. That means the radius would be the square root of 36 or 6. Now to find the points with the highest and lowest x and y coordinates, we can start at the origin, 0, 0, and move the amount of the radius to the right, left, up, and down. So we would end up with these 4 points of 6, 0, 0, 6, negative 6, 0, and 0, negative 6. You don't have to sketch the graph of the circle to determine these 4 points. Notice that to get the points with the highest and lowest x coordinates, they share the same y coordinate as the center of the circle. So we can keep the center's y coordinate the same and simply add 6 and subtract 6 from the center's x coordinate. So 0 plus 6 gives us 6, and 0 minus 6 gives us negative 6. That gives us these 2 points here. And this is 6, 0, this is negative 6, 0. Also notice that the points with the highest and lowest y coordinates share the same x coordinate as the x coordinate of the center. Okay, they're both 0. So we can keep the x coordinate as 0. And then the y coordinates can be found by adding 6 to the y coordinate of the center and subtracting 6 from the y coordinate of the center. So adding 6 gives us 6, subtracting 6 gives us negative 6. And that would give us this point of 0, 6, and this one of 0, negative 6. So essentially you're keeping one of the coordinates of the center of the circle constant, while adding the amount of the radius to the other's coordinate and subtracting, again, the amount of the radius from that other coordinate. So let's look at part B here. Part B, we know this one is not centered at the origin. It has the equation x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared equals 2r squared, where x1 and y1 represent the center of the circle. So they are the values that are actually being subtracted from x and y in the given equation. So the center in this case will be 4, because we're subtracting 4 from x, and negative 2, because we're actually subtracting a negative 2 from y in order for us to see plus 2 here. The radius, again, can be found from the number on the right-hand side of the equal sign. Since the radius squared is 9, the radius would be 3, which is the square root of 9. Okay? Now, we can determine the points with the highest and lowest x coordinate by simply writing down a y coordinate of negative 2, keeping it as negative 2, and then adding the amount of the radius, which is 3, to this x coordinate of 4, and then subtracting it from 4. So we get 7. That would be the point with the highest x coordinate, and then 4 take away 3 would give us 1. Now this would be the point with the lowest x coordinate. Now if we keep the x coordinate of the center constant here, we can add 3 to negative 2 and subtract 3 from negative 2 to give us the highest and lowest y coordinate points. And these would be the 4 points that we're asked to find. So you can just verify with the graph. You don't need to, but I'm going to show you here that it's exactly what you get if you were to sketch the graph. So our center is at 4, negative 2 here. And then we just move 3 units to the right, 3 units up, 3 units to the left, and 3 units down to get the 4 points with the highest and lowest x and y coordinates. And this point will have the coordinates 7, -2. And this point have the coordinates 4, 1. This one have the coordinates 1, -2. And finally this one, 4, -5. And you can see these 4 points are exactly the same as these ones.